Hello, my name is Sophie and welcome back to my channel. I can't remember the last time I made a video, but it's been a busy month. So I've been trying to make space to rest when I actually need to. And when I don't have any ideas for a video, there's no point forcing one for the sake of it. So here we are at my favourite time of the month, making my favourite video of the month. That is my monthly TBR video. My October TBR I did manage to successfully complete, so I'm feeling really happy about that. But my November TBR feels a little bit boring because we're getting to the end of the year and things are a little bit different this month. So what I normally do is I have four categories, and I will pick anywhere between 1 and 2 books to generally have about 6 books on my monthly TBR to fulfill those categories, and then those are the books that I will prioritize reading throughout the month. And if and when I finish those books, I can then read books that are on my book queue, which are basically just continuing the series that I've started and trying to actually finish them. So my categories are any new releases I've pre-ordered, 1 book from the Wedding Book Club, 2 books from my 25 and 2025, and a book that continues a series, kind of linked to my book queue, but specifically at least 1 book that makes some progress on a series. Except this month is a little bit different. I actually haven't got any new releases pre-ordered this month. Well, that's a lie. I have 1, but it's a special edition of a book that I've already read, so I don't need to reread it. I don't have any new releases pre-ordered for this month. The other thing that's a bit different is that November is my husband and I's anniversary, and in our anniversary month, rather than picking a book from the wedding library that we got as gifts on our wedding day, we started the tradition the year after we got married that we would, or maybe it was the year we got married, maybe a bit of both, who knows. I think it was the year after we got married that we would add a new book to the library. Except last year we kind of bought 2, because we bought what's it called? Is it just called the Delicate Dream Department Store? Where is it? Is it by? Who am I? What am I doing? Yeah, it's just called the Delicate Dream Department Store. But it was on the shelf because Return to the Delicate Dream Department Store had just been released. And it was buy one, get one half price. So it made sense for us to buy both. And this year, things are a bit tighter financially. So we're like, you know what? Rather than getting a new book this year, let's just actually read the second book that we bought last year. Because we thought we'd read them both back to back, and we did not do that. So my Wedding Book Club book for this month is not one from the wedding library downstairs, because it's our anniversary month. We've actually been dating for 10 years this month, which is wild. Only been married for 3, but 10 years total we've spent together as of next week, which is crazy. So yeah, the Wedding Book Club book for this month will be Return to the Delicate Dream Department Store. I'm trying to convince my husband that we could read this at the same time and I could pick up the audiobook, but with reading, he's got a bit of the PDA where he's like, well, I was going to read it, but now you've said it and now I don't want to. So we'll navigate that. But either way, I'm going to be reading this. It's a bit long. I didn't love the first one. It was fine, but I didn't love it. So I'm going to try the audiobook for this one because I think I read the previous one physically. But that's the Wedding Book Club book for this month. What are my other categories? My other categories, my 25 and 2025 and continuous series. So as I don't have any new releases pre-ordered, I have more slots available in the 6 books I try to get on, well, the 6 book average I try to make my monthly TBR. And I only have 4 books from my 25 and 2025 left. So if I can read all of those in November, then I think I have a bit of a plan for what I can do with my December TBR that will be a little bit fun and different for the end of the year, because I won't need to read any more of my 25 and 2025 because it will be done. I'm over explaining, but I think you get the point. So my plan for the rest of my TBR is to have the 4 books from my 25 in 2025 and then 1 book that continues a series. So let's go through those. The 4 books remaining from my 25 in 2025, I've said those words too many times. But the 4 books remaining are The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I picked this up in a charity shop because it's based on a radio show, and the part of me that has a journalism degree finds that fascinating. And I don't think I've read any Rachel Lynn Solomon, and I think this cover is pretty, so I'm very excited about this. Then I have Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid, which is much more literary fiction than I tend to read, but this concept sounds so good and I'm so intrigued. It was longlisted for the 2020 Booker Prize, which, considering how much I don't tend to enjoy literary fiction, isn't much of a selling point, but I've heard such incredible things about this that I definitely am behind on it and I need to catch up, basically. And I think I bought the audiobook somewhere or used a credit on it. I don't know. Then we have Jacoby's Game by Alison Prince. I think I've said Alison Pierce in previous videos or TikToks or something, but it's Alison Prince. And I picked this book up for $1.99. And this sticker means that it came from my favourite bookstore, which used to be called Brello Bar, is now called High Peak Bookstore in Buxton. And when was this book published? Because there's a very high chance that I bought this book when I was a preteen, maybe 13 or 14. This was first published in 2006. So we used to visit that bookstore on our family holidays, and there's a real chance that this book has been on my shelf for 14 or 15 years. But I'm finally going to get around to reading it. I believe it's either middle grade or YA. The winner of the Guardian Children's Fiction Prize. It's got one of those fun hardback flap paperback covers. I think this is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a very quick read because it is a children's book and it is formatted with ginormous margins and a relatively large font. So looking forward to that. I think it will be a bit different. And then last but not least, from my 25 in 2025, we have Scattered Showers by Rainbow Rowell. This is a collection of short stories. I saw this special edition in, I believe it was Leamington Spa, Waterstones, and I just couldn't resist. I don't know how many stories are in here. It's actually printed in colour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 stories. One of them is Kindred Spirits, which I believe I have as a novella. So that's interesting, but either way, that will be one of the last books I read from my 25 and 2025. And then just to wrap up, the 6th book that continues the series I am actively working on at the moment is rereading the Maximum Ride series by James Patterson. This was my favourite series when I was about 14, and this is book 5 in the series, and I'm very much looking forward to continuing it. I've really, really enjoyed rereading this series this year. And also, I filmed a TikTok where I designed a TBR based on my cat's name. So I picked a book that started with each letter of her name, and this is the first book on that list. We have Max for the M in Mango. Then I also picked out The Autists by Clara Tornval for A. No Tomorrow, the second book in the Killing Eve series by Luke Jennings for N. The Grimoire Grammar School Parent-Teacher Association by Caitlin Rosakis for G. And last but not least, for O, I picked Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. So that is a TBR that I made that also exists, if anyone was interested. These are the fun kind of stupid TBR challenges I make on TikTok. Mostly just for banter and lols. Those are 4 books that are also on my radar. Yeah, so those are the 6 books I will be trying to read. I will be reading in November. And with the end of the 25 in 2025 in sight, it does mean the use of this mini TBR jar that I was using to pick my 25 and 2025 each month has somewhat become redundant. I think what I will do is I always try to read the Wedding Book Club book first, just so it definitely gets read and it's out the way. Then I think I will use this to choose what order I read the last 4. And then once this is empty, I'm going to be doing the same thing again next year because this was so successful for working on my backlist TBR. I will be choosing 26 titles out of my big TBR jar to put in my little TBR jar, and that will be my 26 in 2026. I know as the number of the year gets higher, people are less inclined to make these number in year TBRs, but I quite like the challenge, and where I'm comfortably reading more books than there are the number of the year, why not? Let's keep going. As you can see, I've got a lot of books to get through, so I need all the help I can get. Hopefully I won't pull as many series this year, next year. But I've been dying to make my 26 in 2026 for several months now, so I'm going to use that as an incentive. Once this jar is empty, I'm allowed to make my 26 in 2026. So you can keep an eye out because I will be filming that. There's no way I could not document that because last year it was really, really fun. Anyways, those are the 6 books I will be reading in November. I've read 7 books in October, and today's the last day of the month as I'm filming this. So a little part of my brain is always like, oh, well, maybe you'll finish the books you're currently reading by the end of the day. I have 3 hours left on my audiobook, which I have not allotted any time to listen to today, and I think I've got about 150 pages left of my physical book, which would only take me a couple of hours to read, but again, I've got to have a couple of hours spare to be able to do that reading, and for that reading not to send me to sleep. And I've got videos to film, I've got things to edit. I don't think I'm going to be finishing those books today, but I'll let you know if any additional books do get finished when I post my October wrap-up next week. That is everything. I think those are the 6 books I'm going to be reading. We're going to do something a bit different in December. I forgot months then, and I'm really excited about it. It's been such a good reading year this year, which is good because the rest of the other aspects of my life haven't been quite so good. Yeah, I'm feeling more in control, which sounds silly, but I think I'm very susceptible to being influenced by book social media. So when I first got into book social media, I was like, I need to buy all the books. I need to keep up with all the book trends, but I couldn't read fast enough. So my collection of books skyrocketed. And I have bought a lot of books this year, don't get me wrong, but buying books and reading books are 2 different hobbies. But I've been much more restrained than before. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're reading a great book, and I'll see you next week for my monthly reading wrap-up and a bonus video, hopefully, if I get around to filming them. I hope you had a great October. Happy November. See you next time. Bye.